Hey, welcome to 5-Minute JS. So today we're going to look at something rather simple yet common. So while you are developing, and this is true for designers, so if you're playing around with some kind of CSS front end or even website builder and so on, you have a lot of need for placeholder text. So what I'm going to introduce here is basically, and let me get this basically in here. So that is the link to, and that is the CDN. Hold on a second. Okay, so that's the filler. You will find those links also in the description below. So what does this do? This basically generates filler text based on what you need, and the idea here is that it's dynamic. So it's not a something that generates statically, it generates on the client side. So how does this work specifically? So let's include this as CDN quickly down here. So you can see I basically just include the script, and then what I can do is I can basically say, okay, let's generate basically according to the space that I have provided. So in this scenario, I would simply get text that would basically fill out whatever space I have available. So that's really interesting because when we design and we want to have a difference here, right? So sometimes see it's shorter, sometimes it's longer, and it's important if you have dynamic content. So if you're designing, for example, for how's a H1 going to look like, right? Then you have to account for, well, what if it's a title that breaks, how does that look like, and so on. So you can basically generate something that has different content every time you actually refresh the page and automatically basically test out a couple of different designs. So let's get a little bit more specific here. I want to actually, first of all, I want to generate this context I'm in. I want to generate 3 of those, right? So this generates 3 complete p tags, right? That's very interesting to know. So as you can see, those are 3 paragraphs. So this repeats the outer element itself, right? We can actually check this out here and see those are actually p tags that are rendered here. And of course, what I can also do is kind of say, like, well, within the element, I want to actually have like 4 rows instead, right? So this is now all within 1 p tag. You can see that. And of course, what I can also do is I can combine that, right? And say, okay, this whole thing 3 times. And what I generate then is basically like, okay, so now I've got 3 paragraphs, right? So because I'm looping this 3 times here, and a total of 4 rows per paragraph. So as you can see, this is breaking behavior. So we get more rows than that, depending on like the outcome of it. So it depends how long are the sentences. What is the space provided. This will even react automatically to a couple of things. So for example, let's get some CSS in here and say, what? The max width of this is 50%. Okay. So what you can see now is that the algorithm understands that, okay, so the intended space given for this has changed, and that's why I present you with less length in the text. So I'm still orientating myself on what you basically want. So to say, like, okay, so this should basically be, you were thinking while designing of about like 4 rows, but see here it breaks, for example. Look at that, that's a little longer. So account for that, and so on. So this is a pretty awesome tool to basically rapidly design. So really helps you a lot when you're doing front-end work, and at the end of the day, you basically can generate your placeholder text accordingly, and it will never be the same. So you always have like different outcomes, and that's basically the magic behind it. So that's a rather simple one. Again, this is called 5-Minute JS for a reason. Hope you enjoy. See you guys soon, and like and subscribe.